Calling me trendy, free Weezy and Remy, free Weezy and Remy. I might get at Ashanti since she broke up with Nelly.
What up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video. Red Café was born in the late 70s. He was born in Guyana and raised in Venezuela before immigrating with his family to Brooklyn at around 6 years old. Raised in a very rough environment, Jermaine never truly experienced love and affection from his family. His siblings, father, even his mother never exchanged I love yous with him, and he never even referred to his mother as anything but her first name. He credits a lot of this to his South American heritage, and in an interview he said the following: "In South America we were raised different. I wasn't raised with love like how in America you are raised with love. There are a lot of other countries where there is a lot of love in a family environment, and I never had that. It was more like, yo, wake up, what up, waking up, what up. My siblings and I never said I love you, ever." Jermaine's family were hustlers from the get-go, and his father was in the streets from the moment they got into Brooklyn. His father went by the name Red, and as a result, he earned the name Little Red, including it into his image and eventually going so far as to make his hair the same color. Unfortunately, Red Sr. got into some trouble in the streets and wound up in jail before his son even reached the age of 12. While his father was locked up, Little Red was cared for by his mother and paternal uncles. Although it was a case of rich in finances and poor in guidance, he joined his uncles in the streets, and at around that time, at the ripe age of 13 years old, he was gifted chunky expensive jewelries of gold and diamond. The streets became his life, and he continued to carry around items that made him a target in the streets. On one unfortunate day, while he was on the streets, two older kids came up to him and tried to take one of his diamond rings. Red Café fought hard to keep his ring, stabbing his attackers with a small knife that he carried around. One of the attackers fired a shot at Red Café, but he managed to back up right as they fired, just barely saving his own life. However, he got hit in the neck, barely missing his esophagus, which made him pass out, although he came to almost immediately. He had to walk home in that condition, and the police and ambulance didn't arrive until he had gotten home and he was lying on the floor. Red Café remained in the hospital for about a week and had surgery to remove parts of the bullet. This incident marked a point of no return for Red Café. His father would go on to pass while imprisoned, while Red Café would graduate into a life of crime on the streets. My mentality was I'll find them, even when I was a young boy with no older brothers. The dude left the country because of that. He's dead now. It was drawn out and shit. It was whatever after that. Moving along though, I was in a different place mentally. I don't know if it registered then. Today it would register. The life and death thing, I don't think you really get it that young. Following being hit, Red Café grew up very quickly mentally. He acquired the name Café while hustling and selling various drugs on the side. He did whatever he could to get cash, and he earned a rep on the streets that if you wanted something, he could get it for you no matter what it was. Café was the stamp that he would put on his baggies, and he would later use it as a part of his stage name. He devoted himself to his new life, and in his quest to be the biggest and baddest dealer around, he eventually got himself arrested and jailed at the age of 16. His charges included assault with weapons, guns and drugs, but he managed to get a plea bargain of just 2.5 years. Now at the end of the day, Red Café believes his experience made him a better person. "I was just into a lot of shit. I wanted everything and I just wasn't having it. I was stone straight-faced all the time. When my father died, I didn't cry. I'm a Virgo, and the way we show our emotions are different. You don't have to cry or show your emotion, we show it in different ways. I feel like I was showing it in different ways. Maybe in the things I was doing. I was getting into a lot of stuff and getting myself in trouble. At the end of the day, I think it saved me though, because I was able to go to jail and grow and be around motherfuckers that had serious issues, and now I can look around and see what their issues are. And I have time to reflect and think and appreciate life and appreciate freedom. If I was still in the streets, I would have still been on the same mentality, the same way. While in prison, Red Café was taken under the wing of several long-term offenders. He also became close friends with rapper Cormega, who stayed in the next block to him, and it was here that he truly developed his love for hip-hop. Before doing his time, he had of course messed around with music, as all aspiring artists do, but it was his time behind bars that truly gave him the motivation and inspiration to write lyrics. Red and Mega became very close while locked up, to the point that they would restrain each other in brawls. They clicked instantly, even though their sounds were different, and remained close even after their release dates. They were initially supposed to be released around the same time, however Red Café got into a bit of trouble while imprisoned, and got another year and a half added to his sentence. Cormega left and signed with Violator Records, while Red Café stayed and finished his sentence on his best behavior this time around. Immediately after he was released, Red Café hooked up with Cormega and began dropping bars and hooks with him. He gathered a couple of his neighborhood friends and formed a 5-man rap group, The Franchise.
I got jewels like Sammy Davis, move like Larry Davis.
Bought a Patty Cali, now Blood's my neighbor.
The group had connections in multiple labels and were in a toss-up between signing with Sony, Violator, and Trackmasters, an imprint of Columbia Records. After a lot of deliberation and a small bidding war, they decided to go with Violator. Unfortunately, the crew never found their footing and the group disbanded. Luckily, Red Café was a natural-born hustler and didn't have all his eggs in one basket. Concurrently to working on his rap career, he was buying and flipping houses in addition to his other smaller gigs. As a result, he was able to pursue a solo career without taking many losses. He also remained with Violator as a ghostwriter for several other artists, including Diddy, for whom he wrote the verse for on Busta Rhymes' 2002 hit, Pass the Cavassier.
Don't this hit make my people wanna Don't this hit make my people wanna
Unfortunately for Red, he couldn't seem to make a label stick. Around 2003, he signed with Arista, but the company merged with another label right before his release date. By 2005, he had managed to land a signing with Capitol's Who Banging Records, and this time he got to put out some music. And when I say music, I mean 2 singles that didn't really chart, namely All Night Long
So what up? If you got some style, you can turn your collar up, put your dollars up.
and Bling Blow featuring Fabulous.
Hold up, bling, blow. Hold up, bling, blow.
Despite his failure with the label, Red dropped a mixtape independently called The Supplier, which was hosted by DJ Who Kid. The mixtape was his only project to chart, landing at number 88 on the US Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. In 2006, he signed with Convict Music on Universal, and in 2007, he was on Convict Music, but this time on Interscope. Somehow, despite releasing a limited amount of music on these labels, Red Café dropped mixtapes independently. From 2006 to 2007, he dropped mixtapes like Hennessy and Haze, The Arm & Hammer Man, and a collaboration album with DJ Envy, The Co-op, which spawned 2 singles, Dollar Bill featuring Fabulous, and Things You Do featuring Nina Sky. These songs didn't really break any boundaries or sell a lot, but Red Café was still doing whatever it took to get his name out there. He also made a song called Stickem for GTA 4 around the same time period. So yeah, he was working. In 2008, he dropped the mixtape Eviction Notice, which was hosted by DJ Envy and featured the single Paper Touching, which featured Jadakiss, Fabulous, and Fat Joe. That same year, he featured on Mac 10's Big Baller with Glasses Malone and released a collab single called Doing in the Club. Around 2009, he dropped the mixtape Hottest in the Hood, which was hosted by Diddy himself and featured several big artist singles. These included Swagger by Grandmaster Flash, Shooting, and Bigger Checks by Beyond Belief.
I'm the hottest nigga in the hood. I'm the hottest nigga in the hood.
The same year, he tried his hand at acting, taking the part of Primo, a freestyle battle rapper in the Biggie Smalls biopic, Notorious. Now after this, Red Café went on to release more mixtapes, and there was still no album in sight, but at least he was trying to keep his fans fed. Throughout this time period, he jumped on a number of songs. Function with E40, Problem, Young Jeezy, Chris Brown and French Montana, 2010's Money 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 with Diddy and Fabulous, 2011's Faded with Rick Ross, and 2012's We Get It On with Omarion. He appeared on Fly together with Rick Ross and Ryan Leslie, and Let It Go with Diddy, 2 Chainz and French Montana around 2012. Let's just say Red Cafe was featured on too many songs to mention. Then he took a short break in 2013 and he returned with the mixtape American Psycho 2 in 2014. From here on, his music releases became sporadically and far apart. Around 2015, he released the single Making Me Proud with Jeremiah and Rick Ross, and in 2016 he dropped the mixtape Dope God. He also has a song with Cardi B called She a Bad One, the remix, while in 2017 he dropped the single God Wanted Us to Be Lit with Wiz Khalifa and French Montana.
God wanted us to be lit. God wanted us to be lit.
2018 brought us his final mixtape offering, Less Talk, More Hustle. Now Red Cafe was a private person. He handled his business privately, and very seldom did any of his beefs make the headlines, and even when they did hit the media, they were quiet and blew over quickly. One such beef was back in 2008 between Dipset's Pharrell and Red Cafe over jewelry. As we have already discussed, Red Cafe came up hustling and was wearing real diamond jewelry from the age of 13. In addition, he has hinted at multiple side hustles, kept out of the media of course, like flipping houses and such. So as a result, not that many people thought his chains and rings were fake, except Pharrell. Around 2008, in a semi-viral clip taken in the backseat of his car, Pharrell called Red out because he was wearing a chain like Pharrell but ain't got no money like Pharrell, implying that Red Cafe's jewelry was fake and that he was broke. He even called him a clown ass, making Red Cafe very upset.
At the end of the day, my nigga, I got money, my nigga. I ain't the richest nigga in the world, but I could afford quality diamonds, my nigga. Look at my shit. My shit dance like a Mario on it. Can somebody please explain to me, how does Red Cafe have the same chain as Pharrell, and he doesn't have Pharrell money? Like, this shit don't add up.
In a performance in Brooklyn of that same year, Red Cafe dissed Pharrell in a freestyle. In the freestyle, he called himself Mr. You Can Keep the Change and talked about all the money that he did in fact have. He ended the freestyle by saying, "I'm talking real shit, they talking LOL. They talking whack shit, they talking Pharrell."
Rockstar, nigga, I'm a rock star. I'm talking real shit. I'm talking LL. They talking whack shit. They talking Pharrell.
This pleased the fans immensely, but for some reason the beef didn't escalate further than that. The following year, he had a minor beef with fellow Brooklyn rapper Wink Loke, both of whom grew up in Flatbush. When Wink got out of prison, he was upset with Red Cafe because at the time Red Cafe had a deal with Puffy. In Wink's eyes, Red Cafe wasn't doing enough to help his fellow Flatbush underground rappers into the game. He made his opinions known in a YouTube interview and claimed that Flatbush in general did not support Red. When questioned about his involvement in Flatbush, Red Cafe pleaded ignorance and claimed that he cannot be held accountable for the ill positions of other people. Now, Red Cafe may have never made it big internationally, but he is quite big underground. He's a man that grew up way too fast on the streets. He's also smart enough to keep his personal life out of the media, leading to a rather quiet life. You can find him on social media flashing expensive cars and I-style jewelry, and he continues to sporadically release new singles and tease new music on his social media. His latest offering is Spirits of Ecstasy with French Montana and Fabulous. Red Cafe gets about 250,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and his most popular songs on the platform are Spirits of Ecstasy, I'm Ill, Fly Together, and Turn Up with Young M.A. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Red Cafe in your opinion? Let me know down below. If you have a video request, be sure to let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.
Perfect.